Hi, Canyon here. On this episode we're talking about Canyon road bikes and we're gonna choose the Ultimate series. As for the most of the manufacturers, we have the cyclocross bikes called In-Flight by Canyon. We've got the Endurance series, which is called Endurace by Canyon. That's nice. And we've got the Aero Race, which are called Aeroed by Canyon. Really nice names for those nicknames for those series. And the Ultimate, that's the racing machines, racing bikes, just like the Giant TCR or Cannondale Super 6. So let's just click Ultimate, and we've got the machine that Nairo Quintana is competing on. So the Ultimate range. Here we have three different models. The Ultimate CF SLX, that's the carbon one, and that's the high end of those three. And the overview of different carnations of this one. Then we have Ultimate CF SL, so without X, the older generation and cheaper, of course. And then the third one is the aluminum bike called Ultimate AL SLX. So let's just look at the main features, main differences, something about women's specific bikes, which is kind of hype in my opinion here, and also the geometries of those different bikes. Alright, so let's just see the Ultimate bikes. These are here, Ultimate CF SLX, of course the carbon bikes. Canyon was working a lot on the aerodynamics and compliance of those, and at least on the paper they say they've got 8% less drag for the frame, and the frame with the cockpit, which is the integrated one here, they say 14% advantage in terms of the aerodynamics comparing to the previous model. And they've done also a really nice job for the seat post and this joint here. They have specific seat post clamp here, which is hidden here just behind those or between those seat stays. So it's more on the joint of the seat post and the seat stays instead of, as usual, the joint of the seat post and the top tube. Seat tube and the top tube. So that's interesting here. There is something also flexible here, like maybe some insert, I'm not sure about this one, but the bolt, the fixing bolt for the seat clamp is just here, down here. So the seat post can flex much more and the bike is much more compliant. That's super, that's really awesome. And we have Campagnolo components here, really nice. Canyon doesn't tell us much about the materials. Actually, they just say carbon for both SLX and SL line, just carbon. So they are not so keen to share with us more information about it. Sport Pro geometry, they call it both for SLX and SL, but believe me, SL has different geometry and it will also be called Sport Pro geometry. But luckily enough, the SLX is more aggressive, which is understandable. That's the racing machine of Canyon. As you can see, comfort should be enhanced by around 15% over the previous model. And now there is something I don't get really, because they say the head tube is straight 114 inch, but for the fork they say it has the tapered carbon steerer with 1.2, that's the bottom bearing I believe, and 114 the upper one. So why do they tell us straight 114 head tube here? It doesn't seem to be some error, because they tell us on each model just this information. So that's interesting. Maybe if you know more about it, let us know, because I wasn't able to find anything online about this. Now the weight for medium size 780 grams, really cool. And for the fork, that's 114 SLX model, 295 grams. That's really nice. And so for the headset, they just say Canyon, so not much. And one more thing I wanted to show you is the seat post. That's the S13 VCLS model, so 27.5 of the diameter and super compliance. That's nice. The VCLS stands for vertically compliant, laterally stiff, and this VCLS system indicates this system is just used for 3 parts, like the frame, the fork and the seat post. They all are made with this philosophy for vertically being compliant and laterally stiff. Bear with me and my English. Alright guys, so these are the main features. If we go down, we can see some highlights nicely done by Canyon. You can read some more informations. These are basic informations, but sometimes you can just take a closer look at this cockpit here. And aerodynamics, D-shaped tubes for more aerodynamics, and this seat post junction here is something new on this model. Really nice. Yeah, that's about the deflection. 37% more horizontal deflection and 13 less saddle tilt. So that's interesting here. I'm sure they've been really working a lot on this one. Then let's just go for the let's just go and see the model with the WMN letters. These stands for women, of course, so these are for ladies. But what I've noticed, the geometry is the same, which I don't like about this. The graphics will be different, the saddle will be ladies specific. I hope that at least the cockpit will be different for ladies, but they don't tell us what's the width of the cockpit. So maybe when you're purchasing the bike, then you're able to choose the width of the cockpit, because you can definitely choose the length of the stem. So let's look once more, because the cockpit is integrated with the stem, so you have to choose the right length for yourself when you're purchasing it. But the integrated cockpit is only available for those 9.0 models, which are here and here and here. And then when we go to 8.0, they come with the standard stem and the handlebars. So that's it for the highest model, which is the SLX. And the lower one is SL without X. That's the older generation, still with quite a compliant joint here, and it will be actually a lot heavier. They say here on the frame 940 grams for medium size instead of 780 in medium size for the SLX, so that's the difference here. But the fork is the same, it's 114 SLX fork, and no infos about those headset bearings. I'm looking for nothing here. The seat post will be the same, it's S13 with this PCLS system, of course carbon fiber, and here you can always find some highlights about these bikes, like for example this tube connections here, or the internal cable routing, which looks quite nice here on this bike. So that's the cheaper version, but if I was to choose between those two, SLX and SL, I would definitely go for SLX, because it's much newer, more technologies and just newer design. The third one is the aluminum one, really nicely done. It's also called SLX, but with AL. Same fork, because when we go down here we'll have same model, Canyon 114 SLX fork, same weight, same system here, but of course the frame will be made of 6000 aluminum, and it weighs just over 1200 grams for medium and Di2 compatible version. So these are the main features of the alloy bikes. These are cool as well. Seat post will be different. It's the S13 VCLS, so also in this system that's giving the rider more comfort. And as for some features, the internal cable routing and the Canyon say that those housings should not be rubbing against the frame. And that's nice. That's the fork, of course, and the stays are also in this VCLS system, so vertically compliant, laterally stiff. But if you see those welds here, don't look really nice. Those don't look super nice. I mean, those don't have to be absolutely smooth and just like on the carbon bikes, but those don't look nice. So that's maybe something you would notice on this bike, the aluminum bike. Last thing I want to show you is the geometries. Here we've got the Carbon SLX, here we've got the Carbon SLX women specific, and then the Carbon SL and the Aluminum SLX. Now, the Carbon SLX bikes, for example, for the medium size frame and women specific, also for the medium size frame, it has almost exact the same geometries. Like reach is 391 for men specific. Then stack is 567 for women specific. Wheelbase, there will be some difference in terms of the wheelbase, some maybe 1 or 2 millimeters here or there, but basically geometry is the same. I don't like this one because it's not women specific. That's clear. Geometry is much more important for me than the saddle even. And then the the carbon fiber SL and the aluminum one share similar geometry, which is much more upright, so neutral than the SLX one. As you can see, reach for aluminum one is 384, for carbon fiber is 383, stack is 558, carbon fiber 560, which is essentially the same, but the SLX, once more, will have much more reach and much less stack. So you will be just much more, in the aero and racy position on the this one, CF SLX system model. So that's it for those bikes. Let us know if you are having those, if you have any suggestions on those bikes, maybe any questions I would be able to ask. Put those just below the video, and I will see you on the next episode of our bike encyclopedia. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.